featuring Professor Ken and Reek in the Lion's Den.
Real estate, I think that's something that, brothers want to get into something where it may be lucrative. I mean, I know you know a little bit about that, and I was wondering if you can speak what you know about it.
Well, real estate, ever since I was a kid, the OGs always say, man, make sure you get you some property, get you some land, get you a house or two, get you a fixer-up, go buy your dollar house and, rehab it and, turn it into Section 8, get rent assistance, But what I try to tell brothers is that, we got to look at real estate from a developer perspective, how, some of our European counterparts and some of our brothers in Africa is doing it. A lot of people don't understand that, we see a lot of gentrification in our community. We see a lot of so-called white people moving in. And we say, oh man, how they gonna come and take over our community? Where people don't understand is what real estate is always 15 to 30 years in advance. So what I'm saying is before they even develop the land or develop the community, the investors go in and they buy the community, 15 years before they even decide to put a piece of real estate on that land. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
think of it from this perspective. In every hood, in your hood over there on the north side, in my hood over there on the north side and the east side, and on some parts of the south side, we specifically see it in Milwaukee. They call it Brewers Hill. We noticed that, a lot of investors came in early and bought up a lot of land. And now those lands have become luxury condos. But see, the way it works is, what they do is they buy the land 15, 20, 30 years in advance, and then they decide, they go to the alderman, they go to the mayor, and say, hey, we want to build this community up. And by this time, the community has become dilapidated. The houses run down, the houses are run down, crime is high in that community, and everybody want to do something about that community. And, I heard in Baltimore, I don't know how true this is, but I heard in Baltimore, it's a certain section in Baltimore, it's like a really bad neighborhood where the police don't go until after crime happened. And they say, well, as long as they keep it over there, it's cool. But that area is no longer a crime area because they purposely allowed it to become infested with crime to only kick the criminals out and lock most of the guys up. And after they locked the criminals out and kicked the people out and ran the neighborhood and moved people out to the suburbs and moved people to other neighborhoods, and then the developers came in. And when they was already in, they had already bought the neighborhood. They was using the neighbors as tenants or the community as tenants. And then eventually, they put a condo. Then the mayor and the alderman said, okay, well, we put a condo. Now we need to put luxury apartments. Then after they put luxury apartments, so well, these people need a place to eat. Then they start putting restaurants there. Then they start putting bars. They start redoing the streets. They start putting adequate street lights. A same community that was infested with crime and that was dilapidated just 15, 20 years earlier, now is a thriving community. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when we think of real estate, we got to quit think of fixer-uppers or buying, these little bitty, cribs and putting $20,000, $30,000 in it and talking about we're going to receive rent from it. That ain't how it go. You know what I'm saying? How it go is that we got to come together as a group, as form a co-op, and all these small realtors, these small investors, we come together and we buy communities. We buy our communities. We spend, $40, $50 million, and 30, 40 people, that ain't nothing. You can put $40, $50 million together. If you're already in the game, if you're in the real estate game, and then, you bring in the contractors, you bring in, the builders, and then the city will have to succumb to you. Case in hand, I think his name was Ken Reek, the mayor of Atlanta. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He got caught up in that same trap that I'm telling you. You know, Ken Reek or whatever his name is, but he was the Black Mayor of Atlanta. He just about maybe the last, or so term. And what happened was, 20 years ago when I was living in Atlanta, when I was actually living in Atlanta, we used to hang out at this club called Kaya. It was like on maybe 11th or 12th and Peace Street. Then before you had the new 112, and then you had the car wash, the record store. That same area, those people bought that entire community, all the way from like 10th and Peace Street all the way up to Lenox Avenue, Lenox Mall. They bought the entire community. Now all you see is community development. It's considered opportunity zone. An opportunity zone in real estate is a zone that has been deemed, uninhabited. You know what I mean? A high crime area. So investors get incentives. They get tax breaks when they go in there and they purchase that particular area, that particular land.
Right.
And that's what happened now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can see what I'm saying actually coming to fruition in one of the cities that we all familiar with. Walk up and down Peace Street now. Walk up and down Peace Street 20 years ago when the record store was there. You didn't see nothing but African Americans. Now, what do you see? You see European Americans because they were smart enough, they meaning the European investors, the white investors, to buy that community up. Once they bought the community up, then they started putting up high rises. They started putting up condos. And from there, it's just common sense that, these people got to have, restaurants. They got to have gas stations. And then all of the investors, all the people that invested, Walmart, all these people, Target, they know in advance that this community is going to be developed. So they all come in. You see McDonald's and everybody like, man, I used to play basketball over here, or we used to shoot craps over there. We used to do this over here. And we say, damn, why they didn't fix this community when we were there? Because they was buying it when you was there.
Right.
If you buy so much property, say for instance a major corporation or one of these venture capitalist organizations, these hedge funds, they buy up $15-20 million worth of property. Guess what? Once you start building, Reek, the property value go up. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Not only do the property value go up, but guess what? If you don't sell your house, guess what they do? They move you by what they call eminent domain. They can use eminent domain to move anybody out of the area of the city deemed that particular house or that particular building or whatever is in the way of construction or development for the city. Right. Because the city and the government is about taxes. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, when you look at what Ken Reek did over there, everybody say, oh man, he's building up Atlanta. But he was a part of a Ponzi scam. He was part of a big con game. He didn't understand. He probably didn't understand. He probably received some benefits from it. But the people didn't understand, because if they understood, they would have built their own community. So when I think of real estate, I'm thinking about brothers coming together as a co-op. Another thing people don't understand about real estate, a lot of brothers always talk about they want to buy these houses and fix them up. Well, man, you could buy a trailer for $15,000, buy a plot, and put that trailer on the plot. How do I know? Because my grandfather and my family, the Ivy family, we own 80 acres of land in Mississippi. We have plenty of trailers, tractor homes on those plots and on our land in Mississippi. So that's another good investment. A lot of people don't know. A lot of Europeans in particular, they prefer to live in trailer homes, and particularly, especially poor white people, they prefer to live in trailer homes because it's like how we look at the hood. They feel more comfortable in those neighborhoods as opposed to living in the suburbs around more affluent white people. So, you see a lot of what you call trailer homes. But brothers don't know, instead of buying them homes up in the hood, you could buy a trailer, get you some plots, get you about 10 or 15 trailers, and then those trailers rent out at anywhere from $800 to $1,000 a month. And you only paying $15,000. Only take 15 months to recoup your money. 15 months after that, you're making a profit.
Right.
So we got to start looking at this real estate thing from a different perspective. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, it used to be, buy a house and fix it up. But if you buy a house and fix it up, you tie your money, that's money that you can be used on another level. Right. You understand what I'm saying? So, we look at it, like, for example, brother Nana Kwame, from Ghana. He just built 168 structures in Ghana, in Accra, Ghana. Ghana, yeah. He's a Ghanaian. You know what I'm saying? And, I was listening to him on the internet, and what he was saying is that the same thing they doing in the black communities, the black African, throughout the diaspora, in particular the ones that are affluent, they going into Africa and they buying that land up. And they buying it up in advance. They didn't bought it 10 or 15 years ago. They used the same concept that the Europeans that used in America and throughout the world, and they now going to those African ministers, those African presidents, those African countries that practice democracy, and say, hey, we want to develop the land. We want to build a city. And that's what they're doing. They're building the city. They use the same, what Nana Kwame is saying. He said the same thing that they did in Dubai, we can do in Africa. The same thing they did in Singapore, we can do in Africa. These are cities that just 20, 30 years ago one was a desert and the other one was a rural area. Right. It was a country area. So what I'm saying is that we could do the same thing in America. If the brothers in Africa is going over there and they buying all of that land in Africa, and once they buy the land and they start developing, what the government gonna do? The government gonna go fall in line because they feel like you're building the country. You help building the structure. So that's what I look at real estate from. I tell brothers, man, if y'all want to get into real estate, we all need to come together and put a bankroll together. In all these areas we call the hood, we need to go and invest in the hood, take our money, invest in the hood, and buy the hood back. For real. I'm talking about not no rap song. I'm talking about buy the hood back. Sit on that land for 10 or 15 years, and then wait till the opportunity time, and then start building luxury condos, start reconstructing the streets, start putting they doing it. They doing it in Texas right now, in Dallas where I'm at. They got a community called Redbird. It's a mall. They done bought that mall back, man, and they building Starbucks, Foot Lockers, and everything in this community that seemed like it was going down. They've been talking about this for the last 10 years. So when I'm saying, brothers who want to get into real estate, we got to look at real estate from a developer standpoint and not from an investor standpoint, like just buying houses and fix them up. That's the old model. Because if you look at all of the cities, all you see is luxury condos and beautiful luxury buildings getting built throughout the cities. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And where they build them at? In the same areas where you used to buy those $10,000, $20,000 houses. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So you was buying the houses, you were trying to get $800, $900 a month from a tenant. These folks is taking that same area and where it was 5 houses and putting 1,000 unit apartments, 1,000 unit condominiums. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a different perspective. We got to look at it, from a global perspective. You know what I'm saying? We got to look at it from a different perspective. We got to quit, thinking like, our ancient forefathers, our OGs. Right. They was thinking, just to have a little house or something, But these folks, man, they taking that same area, them same hoods that we live in, and they stacking them houses on top of each other in the form of apartments, in the form of condos. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, and then the ones they don't rent out, guess what they doing, Brother Reek? They Airbnb in them joints. Yeah. Yeah, that's really going on. But what I want to kind of because since you sparked this up, it made me think about how I see around my way. Like I remember in the late '90s,
a portion of the projects on the north side of Minneapolis is shut down and they leveled it. And like you said, for about maybe 15 years, it just lay dormant. Then a developer came in and built up what they call now Heritage Park. So to me, I look at that as an updated project. It's a housing project, and it's ran by a particular company. So they have their private security that goes throughout that whole area that used to be the projects. So essentially, like you said, a developer bought it 15 years back. They built it up, and now it's privatized. It's not like single people own certain like townhouses or apartments. It's all owned under one umbrella.
But think about it from this perspective. I grew up in the projects too. You know, I used to stay 4759 South Federal. That's Robert Taylor Projects in Chicago. These are the same apartments that we lived in 40, 50 years ago. In the same area, they build the same apartments, but they don't call them apartments. They don't call them projects.
Right.
You know what I mean? The projects was us. We were the project.
Right.
Social engineered. Now they call them luxury condos. I used to say, man, these white folks live in the suburbs. They live in these beautiful homes, man. I can't wait to get me a big old house. And I got me a big old house. I eventually got one of my dream homes. You know, I lived in a big house. You know, we had acres of land. You know, we had, 4, 5 bedrooms, jacuzzis, master bedrooms, So it was a comfortable feeling. It was peaceful. So what baffled me, though, Rick, I was like, how in the hell is all these white people leaving the suburbs and going to the city to live in these apartments, these projects? And then it dawned on me. They always have lived in these areas. It never was stacked on top of each other.
Right.
They had a neighborhood with maybe 40, 50 homes in a certain geographical location. So still having 40, 50 homes, they got 5 or 10,000 apartments in the process of maybe about 20, 30 buildings. Now they stacking people on top of each other. They're still the same communities. It's just that they made the apartments more luxury. It was more luxury than the apartment buildings. So when you think about it from that perspective, you think about white flight, you think about black migration. When people migrated from the South, they migrated from the South because you had World War I, you had World War II. You know what I'm saying? They didn't black men weren't allowed to fight in the army like that. They didn't trust us with guns. So a lot of those white people that went to war, they left jobs in the city because we talk about during the industrialism period. When we had factories and when we had Ford and GM and all these different corporations and companies. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the blacks moved in, but when the whites came back, they was like, man, we're not going to live around these Negroes. Because we have been demonized and black folks have been, in this society, we were second-class citizens. So people thought to live around blacks was living around second-class citizens. So a lot of them, they had what you call white flight, and through white flight, they all, moved to the suburbs. But prior to 1952, you didn't have no suburbs. Now you got suburbs all over, suburbs is just sprouting up all over America, because they tried to get away from it. But, one thing that they didn't give up was the jobs in the inner cities. Downtown, essentially, white folks had all those jobs, those office jobs downtown. They were occupied by, white people.
Right.
So, but to commute from, saying, I'm gonna get your area to commute from, downtown Minnesota to get to Hennepin Avenue all the way to maybe Brooklyn Center or farther, or St. Paul or wherever the hell, y'all suburbs is, that shit was strenuous. People were going crazy. They were committing suicide because to travel for 4 or 5 hours a day, back and forth is extremely stressful. Plus you got to work 8 hours.
Right. But see, this is what I done seen what they done did. Like you said, they've been building out on a slow pace. They got light rail now, so you can take the light rail from St. Paul all the way down to downtown Minneapolis, or take the light rail all the way out to the airport. So it's like, okay, we don't build light rail. Now, all on the rail system, we're going to build up condominiums. So you know what? If you go to work, you can be able to go downtown. You build catch the light rail. You can stay right on one of these condominiums that's right off the light rail. You can just step out your door and jump on the light rail to go to your job or go to whatever type of entertainment that you may want to do. So it's making it more convenient for people, like you said, the flight people leaving suburbs to come back into the cities.
Hey man, like I said, it's ironic and it's kind of crazy to me that for years we lived in projects. We live in the same, they wouldn't call condominiums or they wouldn't call luxury apartments, but we live in the same type of apartment, 2-3 bedroom apartment. And it was considered, the hood. This same area now, you got the same kind of apartment. They just a little bit more luxurious.
Right.
But, you know what I'm saying, they call it condos now. They call it luxury apartments. We had it made. We didn't know we had it made.
Huh.
We were living the life that everybody is paying $2,500 to $3,000 to live now. We had our own. We had it made. We were close to downtown. We was close to the malls. We was close to the business. Now we done been pushed out to who knows where. And we just got to wake up, man. And we got to understand that if we're gonna master the game, then we got to play the game. One of the parts about a game, Reek, is to, in order to win a game, you got to first know that it's a game. And then the second is you got to know the rules of the game. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then you play to win. You see what I'm saying? This is how the game go. You got to play to win, and the only way to play to win is to out-compete your competitor.
That's true.
And if they buying up the hood, we need to be buying up the hood too. We got to quit saying that, man, ain't no gold in those hills. Because I guarantee you that apartment you just said that guy fixed up in Minnesota, I don't know what you just called it, but whatever you called it, I bet you it looked very luxurious, don't it?
Oh, yeah, Heritage Park, yeah.
Yeah, Heritage Park is real plush, right?
Yeah.
But before that, it was probably a dilapidated area.
It was.
Ran down, right?
Yep, it was.
So we see. Somebody said this many years ago. Say, black man look at the moon and be like, "Ooh, look at that big old light." White man look at the moon like, "Man, I'm gonna go up there," And he built a rocket ship and he went to the moon. We got to start thinking big. And this ain't no black and white thing. I'm just saying that I'm pretty sure that if a person is white and he see a person, rapping and he's black, he said, man, you know what? These black guys really got this rap thing locked down. They really good at it. Man, we need to start rapping. I think that first white guy who probably figured it out, we had the BC Boys, it probably was Eminem. You know what I'm saying? Eminem was like, man, I want to rap like the black dudes rap, man. I want to learn this game. I want to hang out with Dr. Dre, 50 Cent. And Eminem did that. And he was accepted. And people accepted him as an authentic rapper. We got to say, man, I want to be like that developer. I want to build luxury condos. I want to do something ginormous. I want to do something big. And then we do it, then they're going to accept us how we accepted Eminem in hip-hop. That wasn't a racial thing for Eminem to be white and want to be a black rapper, or be in the rap game. It ain't racist for us to say the white boys is doing it good and we want to do it just as good as the white boys. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We got to get out of this mentality that, that's what the white boys do, or you racist, or you being, anti-white because you want to do something better than a white guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure that when Eminem decided to rap, that he didn't think about, being second. He wanted to be number one.
Right.
You can tell by his work ethic. You know what I'm saying? And we need to start wanting to be number one in real estate and developers, construction companies. I mean, because those contracts are available. You know, we just got to get out there, man, and we got to scale our business. We got to come up, with a business plan, the plan, and make it happen. We can do real estate just as good as anybody else.
This is my book, The Art of Human Chess. It's a bestseller, New York best time seller. This book here sold millions, sold all over the world, all throughout the prison system. This is the book, The 48 Laws of Game Pimpology. Make sure you get these books. If you don't want to buy the hardcover, if you don't want to buy the paperback, then the best thing to do is go to iTunes on your cell phone and type in my name, Pimpinken, and I guarantee the book will pop up. If that don't work, go to audible.com, type in my name. If that don't work, go to amazon.com, type in my name. Anywhere books is sold all over the country, you can get my books. These are my best-selling books. You hear people talk about them all the time on Instagram, on Snapchat. These are definitely some good reads. Please get my book. I guarantee you that you will never be the same. Your life will be impacted, and also your life will be enhanced just by getting these two books, The Art of Human Chess and The 48 Laws of Game. Just like the 48 Laws of Power, just like The Art of War.
Too cool to count 24/7.